Okay, we played this game, and I thought maybe we'd put the rules out in video for people to go faster and get ready rather than have to read the rules for 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe we can explain it in 5 minutes, and you'll be able to play. Here's how you set up this game. You have a 5 by 5 set of tiles, and you have these desert things in a little circle here. Notice that the deserts are, they have two sides. One is a cross and one's a regular desert, like that. And so you set those up, and here's your crash site right here. So the story of the game is that you were flying over to this archaeological site and you crashed. And so you were going to try to find the hidden airship, and now you're desperate to find it because you're stuck in the desert above this city under the sand. So this ancient city. So you're going to have to find the ancient airship and the 4 parts that are missing here that need to be found, and those parts are going to be found by your players, and you're going to find the tile where the airship would be. That's this tile here, and you'll all move over there with the parts and assemble the airship and fly away, and everybody will be happy. But in order to do that, your characters are going to have to move from this spot and excavate these spots. You excavate by turning them up and looking what's underneath them. So the game is played by this order of play. You take up to 4 actions, and then you draw storm cards. Here's your actions you can move, and every move is 1 action, so you can move 4 times. Clear sand, you can clear 4 sands. You can excavate a card, and then you have to be on the card, and then you can pick up a part if it happens to be there. These are actions you can take. So you can take those actions, and then after you take your actions, you're going to have to draw storm cards based on where the storm meter is. So if the storm meter here, when you first start, it's going to be here where you're going to take 2 cards. But as the intensity goes up, you'll take more cards. So at this point, you would take 3 cards. So after that's over, you take a card, and this one says sun beats down. So if your poor guys are out and unprotected in the sun, they will lose a water. They have to go down to water. And so if you go down to all the end of your water to the bottom, you lose. So incidentally, how you lose the game is if any of these people die of starvation, you lose. If you get to a point where you put out sand every time the storm moves, every time the storm moves around. Here it is right here in the middle right now. You put out a sand. If you get to where you can't put out a sand after it's moved, you lose. All the sand is engulfed your party. Or if you get up to the top of the storm intensity where it gets so high to the skull and crossbones, you lose the game. So those are the ways that you can lose. So what you have to do is work together to try not to accomplish that. You work as a team. So when you can take your actions. For example, or this guy, if this is the first man, the archaeologist would be, I guess, the orange character here. So he'll take 2 actions to take out 2 sands, and then he's going to take a 3rd action here and a 4th action to excavate. And when they excavates, in this case, he has some little gears. So the gears allow you to get a special equipment, and there's all kinds of different special equipment. This one's a jetpack that allows you to move people and yourself. So he'll keep that in his possession until he uses it, and then it goes away. So in order to find the parts, you have to do a tile that'll discover where the tile is by cross-sectional. There's clues. This one for the motor says it's anywhere along this row. And then if you turn this one over, or is it this one? I think I forget where I put it. Oh, here it is. There. This one tells you it's anywhere along this column. So where those cross, that's where the motor can be found. So now we know where it's at. So you can come and get it once you find those clues and you uncover those clues. And another clue that you can uncover is tunnels. So if you uncover a tunnel, like so, if you stay in the tunnel, when you get the card that says sun beats down, I showed one of those, didn't I? I think so. Sun beats down. You won't lose water if you're in a tunnel. In addition to that, if you have a tunnel that's free and doesn't have 2 sands on it, because once you have 2 sands, you can't move there. But only one sand is allowed. If it always has one, you can, as part of your actions, you can, instead of moving one place at a time, you can go from this part of tunnel to that tunnel, because there's all kinds of tunnels under this subterranean tunnels into this ancient city. So one of your move can be moved between tunnels. So that's another benefit. So when you get a card that says that the storm picks up, then what you're going to have to do is move it up a notch. That happens. And then if you get a card that says this is like the storm does move. So you look at the card orientation, and it looks like the storm, that you move the tile to move the storm. You move that tile that direction, and the storm is now there. Every time you move a tile, it takes on a sand. So if you move it again, let's see, if we had a character, say one of our characters was there. Oh, let's say here already. And so you look at it, and it's going to move the storm up, and it moves up here. Then it's going to take on another tile, but then when it takes on two, it becomes impassable. And in the case of having a person there, not only is it impassable, but that person is buried in sand. Can't do any actions until he clears at least this much sand off. He's not going to move. He can't move away until he does that and digs himself out. Special things with each card. People get special actions. For example, this navigator can move another player up to 3 unblocked tiles per action, so he can move another player. So that's something that's good to have. So you have different abilities with your guys that you have to work together to use as a team to acquire these parts, find them, and pick them up, put them in your possession, and then everybody move to the tile that you locate where the ship is. And once you move there and you have all the parts, you can assemble them onto the ship, and then you can escape. You go, the little engine goes right there, and so you can escape. But you have to do that before you use up all the sand, or someone dies of thirst, or you reach the top. Now, ways to keep from dying from thirst is you can excavate these where there is a well. And anytime you excavate a well, whoever's there, whatever player's there, is going to get 2 waters. Then nobody can get any more waters after that, except for the water carrier. The water carrier can go to excavated wells and pull 2 more waters out and carry up to 5. And he can, anytime 2 players are together, they can transfer water between each other. And so if somebody's nearly out, you can give them water, and the water carrier is good to get 2 waters from excavated tiles. But nobody else can get it after it's excavated. So here's another one with a little water droplet on it. Perhaps it's good. No, it's a dry well. Sometimes they're dry. That's how you play. I don't think there's any more to know. And I think you can play with this much information that I just gave you.